Welcome, everyone. If I didn't get a chance to say hi to you before we started, let me welcome you and say hi to everyone this morning for our 60-minute Vinyasa practice. Hope you're doing well today. Go ahead and make your way to your mat now if you're not already there, and let's take a few moments to settle in. You can find a seated posture. Any kind of seated posture is fine. And then bring your awareness, or let your awareness come to your breath. So try not to force awareness of the breath, just allow that to begin to happen. So that as you breathe in and breathe out naturally, you just begin to notice it. Notice all aspects of the breath flowing in and flowing out. Notice what it feels like. Notice the changes in your body and your physical structure as you breathe in and breathe out. Imagine the lungs inflating and deflating. Imagine the breath flowing into the lungs, dispersing through the body, and then flowing back out. Just try and relax into the breath a little bit. Now perhaps you begin to feel a little bit more at home on your mat. As though this is the place you intended to be, that you were destined to be at this moment. Now a couple more breaths, feeling more and more at home in your practice. That's it. Let's begin now. Bring your hands to your knees, palms facing down. Sit up nice and tall, chin is level. Take a deep breath in so you feel your spine lengthen. Now try and relax the upper part of the back between the shoulder blades. Let your shoulders drop down a little bit. So try not to shrug the shoulders up towards the ears. Now just look gently to the left and then to the right, and then back to the left and to the right. And one more time, to the left and to the right. Now back to center. Then right ear towards right shoulder. Let your head rise up, and let the left ear come towards the left shoulder, and rise back up. Twice more, right ear towards right shoulder, and head rises, and now left ear towards left shoulder, and the head comes back up. One more time, right ear to right shoulder, and then left ear towards left shoulder. Now let your chin drop down to your chest. On inhale, lift the chin, not too high, and exhale, bring the chin back down to the chest. Lift the chin and bring it down. And one more time. Lift the chin and bring it down. Now take a very gentle twist. Keep both hands on the knees. Twist to the right and back to center, and a twist to the left and to the right and to the left and to the right. This is the last one. And then to the left. Keep your hands on your knees. A gentle bend to the right, back so you're upright, and a gentle bend to the left, and a little bend to the right, and a little bend to the left. Let's do it one more time, since we're doing things in thirds, or threes it seems like today. And then back to center. Now reach the arms up and overhead, palms together, and then let the hands come down. Keep the arms long. Inhale and up, exhale and down. And one more time. Inhale and up, and exhale and bring the hands down. Now bring the arms out to a T. Flip your palms so they face up. Bend the elbows and touch the top of the shoulders with the fingers, and then straighten the arms. Do that a second time. And straighten, and one more time. Bend the elbows and straighten. Now gentle fists And make circles with the hands at the wrists. You can go around a couple of times one way and maybe back a few times the other. Now open the hands and let's just play with the fingers a little bit, just to start to get a little bit of blood flowing into the hands and the fingertips. And then release the hands. Bring them down. Now come to a reclining posture on the elbows with your palms facing down. Straighten both legs, point the toes, then bend the knees and bring the knees towards your shoulders, and then straighten the legs. And bend the knees, and straighten, and again bend the knees, and straighten. Now soles of the feet together, bring the knees apart, bring the heels towards the pubic bone, and then straighten the legs. Do that a second time. And straighten, and bend, and bring the knees apart. Soles of the feet are together, and then straighten. Now rotate the foot at the ankle, both legs. And then bend both knees, bring the soles of the feet to the mat. Now straighten the left leg, and let's straighten the right leg and bring that right leg all the way down to the mat. Then bring the right knee across the, or left knee rather, across the body and over to the right side, and then over to the left side. Just make circles with the knees. And one more time around. And then straighten the left leg and bring it down. Right knee bends. Now across the body over to the left side, and then straighten the leg. Then off to the right, knee bends, and now knee towards shoulder. And go around a couple more times. And maybe once more. Now bring that right foot down. Come back up to a seat now. And let's come to a kneeling posture, sitting on the heels, if you can, like that, maybe with the hands on the thighs. Take a deep breath. Now bring your chin towards your chest, draw your navel in, and draw your forehead down towards the knees. And then inhale and rise back up. Bring the hands behind you, press the hands into the mat, then lift your chest, lift your chin into a back bend. And now round forward again. And inhale and back bend. Lift the chin. One more time, rounding forward. And then inhale and rising back up into that back bend. And then back to a neutral spine. From there, bring your arms out to a T. Let's take a twist to the left. Bring the right hand to the outside of that left knee. Left hand down behind you. Look over your left shoulder. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, come back to center. Bring the arms out to a T. Let's take a twist to the right. Bring the left hand to the right knee, the outside of the knee. Right hand down behind you. Breathe in deeply so the spine gets long. And then exhale and back to center. One more time on each side. And then back to center. And over to the other side, the sit. And then back to center. Reach the arms up and overhead. Interlace the fingers now. Press the palms towards the sky. Stretch up. Get really tall through the whole upper body. And then release the arms. Palms face down. Reach the hands apart from one another. Take a deep breath. Then as you exhale, bring your right hand down. Reach your left hand up and then over. And press your left armpit to the left a little bit so you feel a big stretch start to come into the left side of the body. Now inhale, engage your core as you come up. And then bring the left hand down, reach the right hand up and over, stretching out the right side body. Let's do that twice more on each side. Right hand down, the left hand reaches. And inhale and rise. And the left hand down and the right hand reaches. Last time on the right side, stretch it out. And inhale, this is the last one. Left hand down, reaching with the right hand. And inhale and rise all the way back up. Reach the arms up and overhead now. Then interlace the fingers. Press the palms towards the sky. Take a little bend to the left. And back to center and a little bend to the right. And back to center and a little bend to the left. And to the right. Release the hands now and take opposite elbows. Stretch the elbows up towards the sky. Take a deep breath. And one more. Really stretch the elbows up. Now take a bend to the left, reaching that right elbow up and over to the left. And back to center. And then over to the other side. And one more time on each side. To the left. And back to center and to the right. Let's release it. Let's come over the knees now into table pose. And once you're in table pose, pick your right knee up and just make circles with that right knee. You can go around a few times one way. Keep pressing both hands into the mat. And my circles are just kind of pretty much level with the floor, so I'm not picking that right knee up very much. And then finish by reaching the right heel straight back, pressing through the right heel. And then bend the right knee and bring it forward, touching the chin. And then straighten the right leg and press back. Do that again. Bend the right knee and bring it forward. And then press straight back. And one more time, touching the chin with the knee if you can. And then press straight back. Press back through the right heel. Now press both hands into the mat. Elbows are nice and straight. Now rotate the toes to the right and bring your right knee forward, touching the right shoulder with the knee if you can. And then press way back through that right heel. And then rotate the toes on the right foot so they point down and bring the right knee down so it meets the left knee. We'll come back now to a table pose. Now cow pose. Drop your belly and lift your chin. And then exhale into cat pose. And inhale to cow. And exhale to cat. Keep flowing. Inhaling to cow. And exhaling to cat. Twice more. Inhale to cow. And exhale to cat. Last one. Inhale to cow. And exhale to cat. Now pause. Press your hands into the mat. Draw your navel up. And reach the middle of the back up towards the sky. Now let yourself come back to a nice neutral spine. Weight comes into the right knee. Just pick that left knee up and kind of let the left knee move around a circle. And go around a few times one direction. Then back a few times the other. Just like we did on the other side. And then finish by straightening that left leg. Pressing back through the left heel. Toes are pointing down. Now bend the left knee and bring it forward, touching the chin if you can with your knee. And then press back through the heel. 2 more times. Bend the knee, bring it forward, touching the chin if you can. And press straight back. 1 more time. Bend the knee. Press it straight back. Press through that heel. Now rotate the toes to the left. Bend the left knee and bring it forward, touching the shoulder if you can. Then press back through that left heel. Then rotate the toes so they point down and bring the left knee down so it meets the right knee. Now inhale to cow pose and then exhale to cat and inhale to cow and exhale to cat. 3 more times through. Inhaling to cow and exhaling to cat and twice more. Inhale to cow and exhale to cat. 1 more time. Inhale to cow. And exhale to cat. Now come back to a neutral spine. Then from there, step your left foot forward so it ends up between the hands. Press into that left foot and then tuck the toes and bring the right knee off the mat. Press back on your right heel. Now straighten the left leg and pull the left hip back as you pull your right hip forward. Now bend the left knee, press the knee forward, and straighten the left leg. Press back through the left heel. And 1 more time, bend the knee. Now straighten the left leg. Now bring your right hand down to the mat and reach your left hand high. And keep pulling that left hip back. Maybe a little bit of a balancing act for you here. And then finish by bringing the left hand down outside the left foot, bend the left knee. And then step the left foot back to plank pose. Take a breath in plank. And bring the knees to the mat. Press back towards child's pose. And then glide the hips forward and down. Press the hips down. Lift your chin. Press your chest forward. Nice deep back bend. Press back again towards child's pose. Pressing into the hands. Lengthening the upper body. And then glide forward. Dropping the hips. Lifting the chin. Let's do that one more time. Pressing into the hands. Pressing back towards child's pose. Feel that stretch in the back. And then glide it forward. Drop the hips. Elbows are straight here. And the hands are right below the shoulders. And then come back to table pose. Once you're in table pose, step your right foot forward so the right foot ends up between the hands. Now tuck the toes in. Bring the left knee off the mat, straightening that left leg. Now straighten the right leg and pull the right hip back. Left hip pulls forward. Now bend the right knee and straighten and bend and straighten. Pause now. Left hand on the mat. Right hand reaches straight up and overhead. Now see if you can pull that right hip back a little bit. And then bend the right knee. Bring the right hand down to the mat outside the right foot. And now step your left foot forward into a standing forward fold. Let your head drop down. Boy, my hamstrings feel really tight this morning. I'm going to bend my knees a little bit to take some of that stretch, some of that sensation out of the back of the legs. And then I'm going to let my head drop down a little bit more, maybe bending the knees even more. Now, chin on chest, round the spine as you rise. And then let your arms float up and overhead. And then exhale to heart center. On an inhale, reach up. Now the arms out to a T and swan dive, forward fold. Come to a half lift this time with the hands either on the mat or at the top of the shins. Either way, lengthen your spine. Press your tailbone back towards the back of your mat. And now a little bend in the knees as you fold forward and let your head drop down. Now chin on chest, draw the navel up as you rise. And the arms float up and overhead. And then exhale to heart center. Let's do that one more time. Arms to a T, swan dive, forward fold, half lift, whatever your preferred method of a half lift. And then exhale, fold forward, and let the head drop down. Now chin on chest, round the spine as you rise. Now let your arms float up and overhead. Whoa. And bring the palms together, interlace the fingers. I'm pointing my index fingers, finding arrow mudra, so interlacing the fingers other than the index fingers. Now reach up, get really tall. Bring your feet a little bit wider than hip width. So mine are about 2 feet or so apart. Now take a little bend to your right. And then engage the core as you come back to center and go to the other side. Engage your core and back to center and then over to the right side. Engage the core as you come up and over to the left. Let's do it one more time on each side. Over to the right and back to center and to the left and back to center. Reach up high, look up, and then exhale and bring your hands back to heart center. Now inhale up. Arms out to about a 45-degree angle, palms face up. Find a nice back bend. Now swan dive, forward fold. Come to a half lift. And then exhale and let your hands come all the way down to the mat. Now keep your right foot forward and step the left foot back into runner's lunge. Straighten the right leg. Press back on the right hip. Leave the left hand on the mat. Reach the right hand high. And then bring the right hand down outside the right foot, bend the right knee. So we've come back to runner's lunge. With both hands on the mat, pick that right foot up and step it straight back into a plank pose. Now 3 breaths in plank. Breathe in deeply and out completely. And breathe in deeply and out completely. Do it one more time. Deep breath in. And exhale, bring the knees to the mat. Chest and chin follow. Inchworm your way into a cobra pose. Take a breath in cobra, and then release all the way down. Now tuck your toes, push to plank, and then just lift your hips into downward facing dog. Press down on the heels so you feel a nice stretch in the back of the legs. On an inhale, lift your left leg up, and then step the left foot forward, finding runner's lunge on our second side. Now straighten that left leg. Left hand, or right hand rather, stays on the mat. Left hand reaches high. This is the second time we've done this movement on this side. Now bend the right knee, or left knee rather. And then step the right foot forward, standing forward fold. Let your head drop down. Arms come out to a T. Bring the weight into the front of the feet. So lean forward quite a bit until your heels begin to float above the mat. Keep pressing into the front of the feet and rise. Nice and slow. Breathing deeply. And once you're all the way up, let your arms float high. And then bring your hands to heart center. Inhale up and back. And then swan dive, forward fold, come to a half lift, and then exhale, let your hands come all the way down to the mat. This time, the left foot steps forward, and step the right foot back. This is runner's lunge, left foot forward, right foot back. Now straighten that left leg, leave the right hand on the mat, reach the left hand high. Bring the left hand down, bend the left knee, step the left foot back, into plank pose. 3 breaths now in plank. Pressing the mat away from you as you breathe in. Now let the breath go. Twice more. Breathing in deeply. Pressing back on the heels. And 1 more breath. Now the knees to the mat. Chest and chin follow, inchworming your way into our cobra pose. Lifting the heart up off the mat with the elbows bent in cobra pose. Your gaze is forward here. Then release down nice and slow. Once you're all the way down, tuck your toes, stiffen your body as you push to plank, and then lift your hips into downward facing dog. Stretch it out in downward dog. Press the heels down so you feel sensation in the back of the legs. Your heels may or may not reach the mat, so don't worry if they don't come all the way down. Now on an inhale, reach your right leg up, and then step the right foot forward, bringing it between the hands, bending the right knee. Now straighten that right leg, press that right hip back. Left hand stays on the mat, right hand reaches high into our twist. And then bend the right knee, bring the right hand down to the mat, and step the left foot forward, standing forward fold. Let your head drop down. 2 more breaths. Let your head get even heavier. Let the top of the head come closer to the mat. 1 more breath. Now the arms come out to a T as you reverse a swan dive, rising slowly. Once you're all the way up, let your arms float high and then bring your hands to heart center. Let your eyes close down now. And let's find a couple of breaths, feeling the breath moving deeply through the body. Breathing in and breathing out. 1 more breath. Now bring the hands to heart center if they're not already there. Hinge at the hips. Then let your hands come all the way down to the mat. Leave the right foot forward. Step the left foot back into runner's lunge. Leave your left hand on the mat. Reach your right hand high into a lunge twist. Now bring the right hand down inside the right foot and reach the left hand up. You're still up on the ball of that left foot. So the heel of that left foot is still off the mat. Reach up even more through that left hand, then bend that right knee just a bit more. Now spin the left heel to the mat, anchor into the pinky toe of the left foot, and rise to warrior 2. I guess I'll turn around the other side of my mat. You stay where you are. I'm just doing that so I can face you. See if you can bend the right knee, pressing that right knee forward towards the front of the mat. And make sure you're anchored in the pinky toe of that left foot. Now straighten the right leg. Left hand drops down. Right hand reaches up and back. This is a reverse triangle pose. Press into the right foot. Lengthen the whole right side body, reaching through the fingertips of that right hand. Now arms come out to a T, bend the right knee, warrior two. Now extended side angle pose. Elbow comes to knee, reach with the left hand. Stretch out the left side body. Keep pressing that right knee forward. Now rise back to warrior two. Straighten the right leg, left hand drops down, right hand reaches up and back. This is our second reverse triangle pose. Now the arms come out to a T. Bend the right knee back to warrior two and extended side angle. Excuse me. Reach through that left hand. Now half bind, reach the left hand up, bring the left hand behind you, and see if you can connect that left palm with the right thigh, and then open the left shoulder up towards the sky a little bit, maybe looking up. One more breath, hit our half bind. If you want to do a full bind here, feel free to do that. Release from the bind, back to extended side angle pose, and then rise to warrior two. Settle into warrior two, take a breath. Good, now cartwheel the hands down on either side of the right foot. Step that foot back to plank pose. Take a breath in plank. And one more. Now flow through a vinyasa, either knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga, which is what I'm doing, into upward facing dog. And then when you're ready, move slowly transitioning into downward facing dog. Now 3 breaths in downward dog as you press your hands into the mat. Reach your tailbone towards the top of the wall behind you. Big deep breath. And one more. Now on an inhale, reach your left leg up and then step the left foot forward. Bring it between the hands. Right hand stays on the mat, left hand reaches high. Make sure that left knee is still nice and bent. And then bring the left hand down inside the foot and reach the right hand high as we come to our revolved lunge twist. Spin your right heel to the mat. Remember to anchor into the pinky toe of that back foot and then rise using the strength in that left leg to bring you into warrior two. Take a breath. And one more. Now straighten the left leg. Reverse triangle, right hand drops down, left hand reaches back. Feel the length on the left side body. Now the arms come out to a T. The legs are still straight at this point. Now bend the left knee and then find extended side angle. Bring your elbow to the knee. Reach with the right hand. One more breath. Open that right shoulder up a little bit more to the sky if you can. Rise to warrior two. Straighten the left leg. Reverse triangle pose. Breathe into the pose. Keep the leg straight as the arms come out to a T. Bend the left knee, warrior two. And extended side angle pose. Second time on this side. Notice the palm of my left hand is pointing up. Now the half bind if you want. Right hand comes behind. See if you can maybe connect the palm to the thigh. Open up that right shoulder, look up. One more breath in our bind. Full bind here if you want to, of course. Release from the bind, back to extended side angle. Now keep that right knee bent and rise to warrior two. Settle into warrior two. Good. Now cartwheel your hands down on either side of the left foot and step the left foot back to plank pose. Now 3 breaths in plank. Breathing in deeply and breathing out completely. 2 more breaths. Stay with it. And 1 more breath. Now flow through Vinyasa. And then come to upward facing dog. And slowly transition to downward facing dog. We're going to find 5 breaths now in downward dog as we really settle deeply into the pose, into downward facing dog. Notice the sensation in the back of the legs.
Notice the lengthening of the spine. 2 more breaths. And 1 more. Now bend the knees and either hop or walk forward so the feet end up eventually between the hands in a standing forward fold. Now begin to bend the knees and rise to chair pose. In chair pose, the feet can be up to hip width apart, or some of you like to have your feet together. That's fine too. Either way, try and keep the feet parallel to one another. Reach through the shoulders. And if that doesn't work for you, you can always bring hands to heart center. Either way is fine. 1 more breath. Now everyone bring hands to heart center, pressing the palms together so the elbows are reaching out. Now bend the knees a little bit more, and then a twist, chair twist, left elbow to right knee. Right elbow reaches high, the spine stays long. Try and keep the knees even with one another. And then come back to center. And over to the other side. 1 more breath here. And back to center. Reach back up in chair pose. And then straighten the legs. Press through the heels. And then let the arms come down. We're just going to circle the arms at the shoulders for a couple times. Go around a couple times one way. And then back a couple times the other. Then reach up. And then exhale the hands, bringing them to heart center. Now bend the knees, come down to chair pose, reach back up. Now swan dive, forward fold, straightening the legs, coming down. Inhale to a half lift. And then on your exhale, let your head drop down. Keep that right foot forward, step the left foot back into runner's lunge. Left hand stays on the mat, right hand reaches high. Right hand comes down inside that right foot, left hand reaches high. Now spin the left heel to the mat and rise. Warrior two, second time on this side. I'm going to face away from you this time so you can see the back side of the pose. Remember to anchor into the pinky toe of that left foot. Maybe press that right knee forward just a little bit more. Now extended side angle pose. And rise to reverse triangle pose. Now the arms come out to a T. Reach the hands apart from one another. Look forward over the extended right hand. Now triangle pose. Reach the right hand forward and then bring it down. Reach the left hand high. Spine nice and long. 2 more breaths. Settle into triangle pose. And 1 more breath. Now bend the right knee and bring the left hand down. Come up onto the ball of that right foot. So we're in a runner's lunge except both hands are to the inside of that right foot. Now come down to the elbows. And if that's too much sensation, bring the left knee to the mat, untuck the toes. This is lizard pose. A couple of breaths here in lizard pose. Maybe 3 breaths. Let your breath start to soften and slow. 1 more. Good job. Now tuck your toes and bring the left knee off the mat and then press into the elbows and step your right foot back into a dolphin plank pose. So this is dolphin pose on the elbows and the forearms. 1 more breath. Now you know what we do. Walk the feet forward into dolphin pose. Press into the elbows. Press your heels down towards the mat. The heels won't land. Don't worry about that. 1 more breath in dolphin. Now, 2 options here. You can either walk up onto the hands into downward dog, or you can bring the knees to the mat and then come up on the hands. Either way, make your way to to a downward dog. Take a breath. Now glide forward to plank pose and then flow through a vinyasa. Knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga into upward facing dog. and then slowly transition to downward dog. Lots of core engagement as you do that. On an inhale, lift the left leg up, and then step that left foot forward between the hands. Right hand stays on the mat, left hand reaches high, lunge twist, and the left hand comes down, and the right hand reaches high into a revolved lunge twist. When you're ready, spin your heel to the mat, that back heel, anchor into the pinky toe, and rise to Warrior Two. Settle into Warrior Two. Take a breath. And another one. And one more. I'm just checking the time to see where we are. Now extended side angle pose. Reach through that right hand. Now rise to reverse triangle pose, straightening the left leg, reaching up and back with the left hand. Now bring the arms to a T, palms face down. Reach the hands apart from one another so you feel a little stretch here at the top of the chest. Press into the right foot, reach the left hand forward and come down to triangle pose. Couple more breaths in triangle. Breathing deeply into the pose. One more. Now bend the left knee. Bring both hands down to the inside of that left foot. And then bring your right knee to the mat. Untuck the toes on the right foot. Bring the elbows down. Let's come down to lizard pose on our second side. So the elbows are down if you can. Another breath. Actually, two more breaths. Now tuck your toes and bring your right knee off the mat. So you straighten the right leg and then step that left foot back into a dolphin plank pose and breathe. We're going to find 3 breaths now in dolphin plank. Deep engagement of the core, which includes the abdominal muscles, the gluteal muscles, and the low back muscles. One more breath. Awesome. Now walk the feet forward into dolphin pose. Remember to press into your elbows, so that your elbows should be forward of your shoulders. The shoulders shouldn't be directly over the elbows. One more breath. Now either walk up onto the hands or bring the knees down to the mat. Either way, make your way to downward dog. And then from there, bend your knees and either hop or walk forward into a standing forward fold. Now bend the knees and rise to chair pose. And then straighten the legs and bring your hands to heart center. Let your eyes close down now. And let's find 3 deep, slow breaths. Feeling the breath as it flows through your body. 2 more breaths. And 1 more. Now let your eyes open and release the hands all the way down with the palms facing forward, thumbs pointing out. Leave the right foot forward and step the left foot back, about a 3/4 step back into Warrior One. Reach the arms up and overhead. And remember, of course, if you want, you can bring the hands to the hips and pull that left hip forward. Pull the right hip back until the hips are square to the front of the mat. And then when you're ready, reach back up. Now bring the hands behind you. Interlace your fingers behind your back. Straighten your elbows to the extent you can, pressing the palms together so the flesh of the palms can touch here. Now breathe in deeply to the space you're creating for breath at the top of the chest, and then straighten the right leg. Press into both feet and press the feet apart from one another on the mat. Now hinge at the hips. Keep your spine long as you very slowly come halfway down. Once you're there, press into the right foot and slowly rise back up. Let's do that a second time. Coming halfway down. And then all the way back up. One more time, halfway down. You're doing great, and then slowly come all the way back up. Once you're up, pause for a moment and press the knuckles towards the left heel so that you're deepening the stretch between the shoulder blades. Or actually, you're drawing the shoulder blades closer together and deepening the stretch at the top of the chest. Then release your hands, reach them high, bend the right knee. Let's come back to Warrior One. Now bring your hands to heart center and step the left foot forward so it meets the right foot. And then bring the feet apart. I'm going to turn and face you so that we come to a yoga squat. The heels are closer together than the toes. The toes overhang the edges of the mat. Elbows to the inside of the knees. Take a breath. And maybe one more. Now bring the hands to the mat, spread your fingers wide, press the palms down, and lift your hips. Let your head drop down, and then bring the feet back so they're about hip width apart. Now the arms come out to a T, and then behind you, interlace the fingers, reach the knuckles towards the sky, maybe forward towards the front of the mat. Bring your weight forward into the front of the feet. If you brought it back into the heels, let the heels float a little bit. Now keep pressing into the front of the feet as you rise. And then once you're all the way up, you can release your hands and let them come down, palms facing forward. Now feet about hip width apart. Take a breath. And one more. Good. Now step your right foot about 3/4 step back. Toes on that right foot pointing to the upper right corner of the mat. Left knee bends, reach the arms up and overhead. This, of course, is Warrior One on our second side. And take a moment to square your hips to the front of the mat. Now bring the hands behind you, interlace the fingers, but do it in the awkward way this time. So whichever thumb was on top last time, other thumb on top this time. Bend that left knee a little more. And draw the shoulders to get shoulder blades rather together. Take a breath. Now straighten the left leg. Press both feet into the mat and then press the feet apart from one another, providing stability. Now hinge at the hips, or at least that left hip. Come halfway down and then press into the left foot and rise back up. Very mindfully, very fluid motion. Second time, halfway down. And rise back up. And one more time, you're almost there. And rise back up. And then once you're up, pause for a moment. Press the knuckles towards that right heel. Breathe deeply. And then release your hands. Let them float up. And then to heart center. And then bend the left knee. Now bring the weight into the left foot. And step the right foot forward. Bring the feet apart so the toes overhang the edges of the mat. And let's come down on our second side to our yoga squat. Malasana is the name of this pose in Sanskrit. And if you'd like, this is a great opportunity for a crow pose, bringing the hands down in front of you. And I'll move to the side here. Elbows to the inside of the knees. Maybe pick the feet up. Release when you're ready from crow pose, back to Malasana. And we're going to find 3 more breaths now in Malasana. 2 more. Open the hips up even a little bit more. And one last breath. Good. Now release your hands, bring them behind you, and then come to a seat. Once you're seated, reach your hands out with the palms facing towards one another, thumbs pointing up. Lean back a little bit, but keep your spine long. And then pick the feet up off the mat. Now pick the heels up so that the shins are parallel to the mat. And take 3 breaths. Breathing in deeply and out completely. Twice more. Breathing in and breathing out. And a last one. Now straighten the legs. This is boat pose, full version of boat pose. Breathe in and out and in. Stay with it. You're doing great. Almost there. One last breath. Bring the hands down, bend the knees. Soles of the feet come to the mat. Come down to your back, or actually come down on the elbows. So we're back to that reclining position we were in at the beginning of practice. Now bend the left knee and bring the ankle of that left leg to the right knee. And then press the left knee away. This is a version of a supine figure 4. And see if you can flex that left foot a little bit. Will protect the muscles in that left knee. Another breath. That's good. Let that go and bring the left foot down. Let's go over to the other side. So bend the right knee and bring the right ankle to the left knee. Now flex that right foot and then press that right knee away from you. A couple more breaths in our supine figure 4 variation. And let it go. And bring that right foot down. And then come up to a seat with the legs straight out in front of you. Press the palms into the mat. The palms are on the outside of the hips, so the thumbs are pointing towards the hips. Now press the palms into the mat and then bring your shoulders back. Notice your tailbone or your sitting bones come up above the mat just a little bit. They probably still are in contact, at least that's true for most of you. Now pull the shoulder blades a little closer together. Make sure the core is engaged. And now press the heels away and pull the toes back towards your torso. This is called staff pose. And let it go. The elbows can bend just a bit. Now bend the left knee, bring the sole of the left foot. Actually, let's do that pose a little bit different way. So what I'd like you to do is bend your right knee and bring the right heel towards the left hip. Then bend the left knee and bring the sole of the left foot to the outside of the right thigh. Got that? Okay. Now hug the left knee in with the right arm and then bring the left hand down behind you and then twist and look over the left shoulder. Keep pressing both sitting bones down. Breathing in and out. On the inhale, let your spine lengthen. On the exhale, see if you can find a little bit deeper space or a little bit deeper twist, exploring the space for twisting. One more breath. And let it go. Good job. Let's go over to the other side now. So bend the left knee and bring that left leg under the right leg. Bring the left heel towards the right hip. So you got that part? And then bend the right knee and bring the sole of the right foot, I'll face you so you can see, to the outside of that left thigh. Now hug the knee in. So you're hugging your knee into your chest with your left arm. Bring the right hand down behind you, breathe in deeply, and then exhale and twist, looking over the right shoulder. About 3 more breaths. With each breath, with each inhale rather, let your spine lengthen, and on each exhale, twist a little bit more to the right, or at least explore the space available to you for twisting. One more breath. On the exhale, unwind, come out of the pose. And then bend the knees. Flip your palms now so they face up. And then slowly roll all the way down to your back. Once you're on your back, bring your hands down to the mat. And then let's find legs up the wall pose. Palms press down, heels reach up to the sky, tailbone pressing down, sacrum pressing down into the mat as well. Now bend the knees, let the soles of the feet come to the mat as we prepare for bridge pose. As always, if you prefer to do wheel pose here, feel free to do that instead. I'm going to cue bridge pose for our first one. Press your feet into the mat and lift your hips. If your hips are up just to here, if you look at what I've done, see if you can lift them up a little higher. You can do that by pressing your your feet into the mat and drawing your shoulder blades together, which will allow a deeper back bend. You're going to feel that in the quadricep muscles on the front of the legs, probably, maybe in the glutes. 2 more breaths in our bridge pose. And now 1 more. And release slowly from bridge. Gently bring your tailbone to the mat. Once the tailbone lands, pick the feet up off the mat and hug your knees in towards your chest. See if you can keep the back of the head on the mat. So I want your back still relatively flat. Then release the feet up to the sky, legs up the wall pose. You can stay in legs up the wall pose, or if you want, this is a great opportunity for plow pose, bringing the feet up and overhead, letting them touch down on the floor behind you. Another breath. If you're in plow, bring your hands to your low back. We're going to move into shoulder stand from here. So if you're in legs up the wall and want to move into a version of shoulder stand, feel free to do that now. Those who got to shoulder stand from plow, release to plow. Take a breath. And then let's all return to legs up the wall pose. Let's meet there. Take a breath. Now bend the knees. Let the soles of the feet come back to the mat. This can be our second bridge pose or a wheel pose. For wheel, bring your hands behind the shoulders, actually sort of above the shoulders. The fingers are pointing towards the back of the mat. The elbows are reaching straight up. If you want to move into bridge, go ahead and do that now. If you want to move into wheel pose, do that now. 1 more breath. And then release. Once your tailbone lands, again pick up the knees, hug the knees in towards the chest. And then release the heels to the sky, legs up the wall pose yet again. Now keep the left foot reaching towards the sky. Keep both legs straight and bring the right heel all the way down to the mat. So both legs are still straight. The right leg is reaching forward. The left is reaching straight up. Now bring your arms out to a T and then bring the left leg all the way over across the body to the right. And if you want, you can get a hold of the big toe on that left foot with your right hand. Relax the back of the left shoulder as you enjoy this straight leg supine twist. One more breath. Let's come out of the twist by bringing that left leg back up. And the right leg joins it into legs up the wall. Excuse me. Now let's go over to the other side. Let the left foot come all the way down to the mat. Left leg stays straight. And then bring the right leg across the body and all the way over to the left. If you want, you can get a hold of the big toe on that foot with your right or with your left hand.
Now 3 breaths, starting to really settle in. One more breath. All right, pick that right leg all the way back up, and then just bring it down so it meets the left leg. Bring your arms down by your side, flip your palms so they face up, and let's take time now to enjoy Shavasana. Let your breath start to settle. Take a few moments to enjoy the sense of ease, the sense of softness. Let your breath begin to slow and settle. Let your awareness come back to your breath. And just pay attention to both the inhale and the exhale. Bring your awareness now to heart center. Keep your awareness there. Now become aware of your heartbeat. Remember, of course, that you may experience your heartbeat somewhere other than in your chest. You may notice the heartbeat at the lips, maybe the fingertips, maybe the tips of the toes. Now deepen your awareness of your heartbeat. Notice the rhythm of the heartbeat. And notice the speed. Now release your awareness of your heartbeat. When you're ready, draw your knees in towards your chest and then roll to your side. Once you're on your side, you can keep your eyes still gently closed and just pause for a moment. When you feel ready, bring yourself to a seat. Once you're seated with your eyes still gently closed, bring your hands to heart center. Now take a deep breath in and feel the breath rising from the sitting bones all the way to the top of the head. And now open your mouth wide and let the breath go. Do that a second time. Deep breath in so the spine gets longer as you breathe in. And then open your mouth and just let everything go. Thank you so much for being with me today to practice yoga. I offer you loving kindness. May you be happy and well and safe. And may you be peaceful and at ease. Namaste.